Hi, I'm the Console Warrior, but you can call me Console. One thing I loved doing when playing video games was growing up. I used to go to college. My major was game art and design, and I went to the Art Institute of Inland Empire. Then the campus closed down. Then I went to the one in Hollywood and, well, that one closed down too. Now the closest campus for the Art Institute I can go to is the one in Las Vegas, and there I decided I need to look for another school. Until then, I've been working on this video game review channel. I love hearing people's opinions, but I've always had trouble expressing mine. There's a lot of games out there, some that I've played and some that I haven't, but I've always wondered why we like so many different things. And I thought the best game to talk about that with you was with Sonic Unleashed for the Wii. Sonic Unleashed for the Wii was received with okay to mediocre reviews. Even IGN gave it a 70%, which isn't horrible. I'm sure most of us know that IGN has some bias towards Sonic and his fans, and although it's completely unnecessary to give biased reviews, I thought the writer's reasons were understandable, and some that I agree with. The 360 and PS3 versions are believed by most of the fan base as the better versions. However, IGN put it lower than the Wii and PS2 versions. So here's my question. When they said, "We hate Sonic," did they mean all of IGN, or those specific employees? One problem that Video Game Donkey has with game critics is that they are decentralized, which means more than one writers take turns making a review. It's an interesting video and I highly recommend you check it out. He's one of my favorite YouTubers and he's even exposed the truth of JonTron. I have a fear of birds now. My first Sonic game was Sonic Adventure 2 Battle for the Nintendo GameCube, and I've been a Sonic fan since. I've played the Genesis games, the rest of the Dreamcast era, and grew up with all the cartoons at the time. My favorite is the Sonic OVA. I thought Sonic Unleashed was a good game to help introduce me. That and I would have done a Nintendo game, but Sega's not as strict with their content. And before you ask, yes, my hair is soft. I've played the Wii version of Sonic Unleashed before, and at the time I considered it my third favorite Sonic game. I'm not sure why though, but I ended up getting rid of it. So is it really as good as I remember it to be? But that's why we're here. Let's review, critique, and see why so many people have different opinions on this game. Sonic Unleashed was released in 2007. It was originally planned as the third installment of the Sonic Adventure series, but since they had so many new ideas, they decided to create a new type of project. It's important to know that the Wii and PS2 versions, and the 360 and PS3 versions have major differences, or they're almost like different games. They control very differently and the levels are entirely unique in design, so if you play the 360 and PS3 versions, you're going to have a new experience. Since their titles are the same, most would assume they're the same, so I understand if there's any type of confusion. We begin with a beautiful CGI cutscene with Sonic and Eggman duking it out. Sonic uses the Chaos Emeralds to turn into the almighty Super Sonic and chases down Dr. Eggman. After getting cornered, Eggman begs for mercy, which catches Sonic by surprise.
Easy on me! I'll turn over a new leaf, I swear! Just give me a chance!
Well, this is new. Showing remorse, Eggman? If you played nice, I wouldn't have—
This was to trick Sonic into underestimating him so he can retract the Chaos Emeralds and use their powers to break the planet into pieces.
That's right, this is what you get! My super laser piss!
This woke up Dark Gaia, giving Sonic a strange and bulky transformation, and then is launched into the planet along with the Chaos Emeralds. So far, things are interesting. The presentation is top-notch, and we get to see the characters do what they do best. Sonic falls towards the Earth, but in the absolute chance that he will die, he's saved by a green light. He meets this creature who lost his memory. Sonic thinks it's because he fell on him, so he feels it's his responsibility to help him. He later names him Chip until he finds out who he is. He's very rude. Not only does he run away and call Sonic a monster, but he judges him for being scary and after Sonic showing some concern.
Thanks for asking, Mr. Monster Guy.
Mr. Monster Guy?
Talk about a bad first impression. There are two forms of gameplay. In the daytime stages, you race at high speeds to get to the goal ring. It switches with a nice balance of 3D and 2D. Your main ability is the boost, which is the first time it's been used in 3D. I like that he can use the classic spin dash and where it's used. Be careful though, it launches you based on the camera's position, not where Sonic's facing. You collect rings like always, but not always your health. It also fills your boost gauge, maxes your limit on how many times you can use them, and increase your speed. Speed is the reward, so focusing and reacting are key to avoiding obstacles. The faster you go, the harder you need to react. There are tons of different routes to go to, so the experience isn't always the same. I rarely feel like I have no control of Sonic, and there isn't too little of obstacles either. They arrived to Abydos, where Sonic gave Chip his nickname from chocolate chip ice cream. I always like this about Sonic. It's like where most of his friends get their cool and cheesy nicknames. Afterwards, nightfall comes and he changes back into the beast he was before. The happy ice cream salesman they found earlier is crying that the world is broken apart, something that he didn't care about in the daytime. As we learn later, it's because of the dark Gaia creatures roaming the night, which seems to affect the villagers. In the nighttime stages, Sonic uses his new form to battle enemies known as the Werehog. It's the beat-em-up portion of the game, and as you might expect, it's very different for the daytime stages. This game was my first experience to beat-em-ups or hack-and-slash games. I haven't played another game in this genre either, so this will be coming from a beginner. The Werehog is a bit clunky. He starts off slow, but then changes speed after a second. Attacking while walking at full speed will make you dash attack instead of your standard attack. Because I can't change the speed manually, it gave me many surprise deaths. Maybe speed can be determined on how hard you press the control stick instead of how long it is. You can also dash attack while dashing, which should be the only way. To dash, you must tap the control stick twice, but it becomes a bit finicky. One quick tap like in Super Smash Bros. Would make this a lot easier. The attacks are stretchy punches or claw attacks. There are no familiar Sonic moves though. I think having spin dash based attacks can make it seem more like a Sonic game. The combos are very simple and there isn't a lot of different enemies to fight against. Some have unique weaknesses, but since you are fighting a lot of enemies, the combos become stale quickly. You can gain experience which helps you gain skills like do combos or more health, but it doesn't change much. You can also use your Unleashed power. This will power up your attacks so bigger enemies like the Titan and Big Mother can be taken out easily. This can be nice in tough situations, but can be a bit unsatisfying as you just die after one combo. The stages are okay, but it can be boring sometimes. You're either fighting the same stale enemies, dodging slow obstacles, or waiting for the next platform. Well, at least the music is good. Later, Sonic and Chip saves Tails from dark Gaia creatures. First showing some concern of Sonic's new form, Tails gladly wants to help with transportation. They head to find Tails' colleague in Spagonia, Professor Pickle. Unfortunately, they learn he's been captured by Dr. Eggman.
And if I was that hungry, I don't know how long I would last. I'd rather be dead.
I'm sure Eggman is feeding him. Even he's not that cruel.
Yeah, Chip. Haven't you heard? Dr. Eggman's a feminist. There are two types of controllers for the Wii version. There's the Wii Remote and Nunchuck, or the GameCube controller. For the daytime stages, shaking the Wii Remote can make you boost, moment attack, ring dash, etc. Sometimes I need to shake it hard enough though, but I don't want to break my controller. Or my arm. For the nighttime stages, you can attack by shaking the Wii Remote and Nunchuck, or pressing the L and R buttons on the GameCube controller. Use the left side to move your left arm, and the right side to move your right arm, on the Werehog. Most dislike using the Wii controllers, but from someone who doesn't get a lot of exercise, I think it's pretty cool. The combos are simple to make so you're not moving your arms all around like a madman, and I don't feel tired after doing it either. On the GameCube controller, the L and R buttons are kind of stiff. I don't have the PS2 version, but I think I would prefer using their controllers instead. You might think with both playstyles they would get equal time, right? Well, the truth is, the day stages take about 1 to 5 minutes, whereas the night stages take 5 to 10. There's only one day act and 4 night acts most of the time, so the nighttime stages have much more playtime overall. There are also special missions for both day and night stages. This can range to time trials, collecting rings, or defeating enemies, which add variety and are a nice addition to the game. For extra challenge, the ranking system is back again. To get the best rank for the day stages, all you need to do is beat the time given at the top left corner. The night stages are the same, but you also need to get the right amount of force and rings as well. I rarely don't get an S rank for the night stages, but the day stages are a little more difficult. Sonic and Company saves Professor Pickle and take the Gaia manuscripts back from Dr. Eggman. Professor Pickle explains that this wasn't the first time the planet has been broken up. To put the planet back together, they must restore each emerald's power by bringing them back to the Gaia temples. Sonic and Chip manages to get most of the emeralds in the temples, but returning to Spagonia, they bump into Amy. Amy doesn't recognize Sonic, which oddly makes him sad.
How come that girl didn't know you were you, Sonic? I mean, I guess you are kinda, you know, and these guys. I mean, don't worry, hey!
Later, Sonic and Chip find her trapped in the party. She's being forced to dance, which honestly, knowing Amy, it shouldn't be that hard and... What the heck? To navigate, the world map takes form as Sonic's world. It's a cool and easy way to get to the place you want to go. Even IGN loves it. Before you can go to the main game, you need to talk to the villagers. It goes quickly, but they're not very interesting, and you must talk to the right person to proceed. Before you go to the main game, you need to talk to villagers. They may not be very interesting, but it goes quickly. Although this isn't the same when you need to rescue Professor Pickle. When you first go to Spagonia, you have to talk to villagers and find the assistant, who will tell you the professor has been kidnapped. Then you need to go to Missouri, but Chip will tell you none of the villagers are there, and it's never explained why. Finally, you rescue Professor Pickle and go back to Spagonia. This was completely pointless just to go through all this just to save him, and it took a while to do it. I think the 360 and PS3 versions had playable levels instead, so why not the Wii? There are also teleporters that allow you to warp between temples, but I don't recommend it. They don't tell you which temple they take you to, and they're not always in the same order, so unless you want to memorize their colors, I suggest you go through the main map instead. And lastly, there's the puzzle rooms. These rooms can be unlocked by collecting Sun and Moon medals, which can be attained by completing missions. To solve them, you must change between forms. This is what I remember the most. The music may be boring, but I really enjoy these. The prizes are extras that you can also find in the main stages and talking to villagers. You can get artwork, music, movies, and tips on how to play the game. It gives the game challenge, which is something it needs. They can also provide hints to the ones you haven't collected yet, but they are kinda vague. They tell you what number, the continent, and type of stage it is, but they don't tell you which act. So you might have to check every stage with that description, and if you don't find it, then get ready for round 2. After putting the 6 emerald in its place, Chip gets sucked into this mirror and regains his memory. That's it. It's just given to him. And all this time, Chip is like Gaia, an entity who lives thousands of years along with Dark Gaia just to stop him from covering the world with darkness. I mean, he certainly looks like he could be a mythical creature.
I bet it's thanks to you. Even at night when I'm like this, I'm still myself, not like all the other people we've seen. You must have been protecting me this whole time.
I kept reminding you how much of a freak you look like for the past time we spent together. Finally, Sonic finds the last temple and Chip's work is done. After that, Dr. Eggman appears and forces them into the Earth's core. It's a unique final area for a Sonic game, and it's a great one as well. Then Dark Gaia comes and betrays Dr. Eggman, and Sonic loses his werewolf form. Chip uses his Light Gaia powers to turn into a colossal temple creature, and we get a quick punch-out session against Dark Gaia. It's freaking awesome! I feel we would have been confused to see Chip just pull this out of nowhere, but knowing that he's Light Gaia pretty much explains it on its own, and it's great. Then finally, Sonic calls all the Chaos Emeralds to end it as the almighty Super Sonic. After that's done, Chip must return, tossing Sonic back to safety, and is left with a memo of his friend.
Huh?
I'll never forget you.
Sonic Unleashed is not bad. The day stages are fine, it's where most people have fun with. The night stages though, that's where it drags. There are levels that have cool ideas, but the execution is where it fails, usually forcing the player to wait or go through the same enemies with the same combos. It lacks a lot of variety, so it stales. The game's difficulty is my biggest problem. It's too easy sometimes, and I really have trouble trying to get to S ranks. It's until after Edabat is where it got difficult. The game really shines in collecting the extras. It made the game more challenging and very rewarding. If you want a challenge, it's better to play the game while collecting the extras. I actually 100% completed Sonic Unleashed. To me, that usually means I enjoy the game, but I must admit, it was rather because it was too easy. But what do we get for completing the game? Just some small short with Sonic and Chip fighting over food, and it's in the Japanese dub. I mean, we do get all this cool artwork and music beforehand, so I guess it's not that bad. Huh? What's this?
Super Luigi Galaxy!
Oh! The story is simply okay. It plays it safe compared to the adventure games or even Sonic 06, but not all Sonic games need a complicated story. It's filled with many small cliches like Amnesia, which is the 4th in the series. It has a 6th final boss fight who portrays Eggman. Super Sonic appearing at the end is also overdone, and of course there's the Werehog itself. But what makes it stand out is it was created by absorbing energy from Dark Gaia. The stretchy arms are something I haven't seen from this cliche before, and its purpose for Sonic is original. As we know, the humans are acting weird at night. He believes he is not himself anymore, and is not getting the praise and love that he normally gets. Sonic is a celebrity, but since he's the werehog, people don't notice that he's him, and when he feels bad when his biggest fan doesn't recognize him, he knows something's up.
Who are you? I could have sworn it was him. Anyway, I'm really sorry. See you later.
Sonic is usually avoiding Amy, so when he feels sad that she doesn't chase after him this time, it really shows that Sonic isn't feeling right. Luckily, Chip was there to remind him that it doesn't matter what he looked like. Yeah, he originally judged him based on his appearance, but he learned that Sonic was really a nice guy, which helped Sonic realize that he's still the confident, snarky blue hedgehog that he's proud to be.
I haven't done anything, Sonic. You're the reason you haven't changed at all. You're too strong to lose yourself.
I'm the reason?
Yeah, you never doubt yourself, no matter what. You never give in to the night or the darkness inside your heart. I think it's because I knew that about you. That's why I wanted you to help me. It's been so fun, getting to see the world. I've lived here since the planet began, but I didn't know a thing about it. That it's so pretty, or that food tastes so good, or that people are so nice. I'm so glad I got the chance to discover all that with you, and I'm so glad that you helped me find my memory. Sonic, I will never, ever forget you. Thank you, Sonic.
It's almost rare to see Sonic with a positive character arc in the games. However, new players to Sonic may not catch this. He may be a world-famous celebrity, but it isn't shown enough in this game, and to be honest, not as obvious in the franchise either. If Sonic's fans were praising him in Apatow but didn't recognize him when he was the werehog, the message would have been made clear. So far, the only clue that shows he's famous is with his biggest fan, Amy, and that's not showing a lot. The same can be said with Chip. If he told Sonic that he was wrong to judge him, then it would be easier to see his character development. There are other cliches in this story, but they're not that big of a deal, so I didn't mention them. I just talked about the ones that bothered me, minus the werehog, of course. The reoccurring characters were great choices. Tails and Amy make sense as the purpose is usually to follow Sonic. Tails brings his playing skills and knowledge to help, but I wish he wasn't a coward though. I know he can be a bit timid, but even then he always had enough courage to fight. His character development from Sonic Adventure even has him learn to believe in himself, so why is it ignored here? Another scene that confuses me is when Tails crashes after Professor Pickle tells him that the last Chaos Emerald was brought to the temple. It's another cliche that Tails is known for, but I thought it was going to be a surprise issue for Sonic to defeat. The problem is, it's never explained why. It can't be the earthquake that Dr. Eggman made, because Tails was in the air. Honestly, Tails is kind of a joke in this game. I'm surprised no one really talks about it. Amy is perhaps my favorite because as explained earlier, she showed a different side of Sonic that we don't normally see. She also gives Professor Pickle someone to talk to. I don't understand why she needed saving though. Sure, learning to stick up for herself from Sonic Adventure won't stop her from getting kidnapped, but I'm sure she could handle a simple problem like being forced to dance. We've seen her push the werehog with a simple pat, and she's even fought Dr. Eggman multiple times before, so why is this a problem for her? They do what they are supposed to do, but I wish they had more screen time. Dr. Eggman was the greatest. He's a bit silly at times, but they make sure to remind us that he's still a big threat. The tone of the music is very dark when he's around, and I especially love his main theme from Sonic 06. Shadow and Knuckles were also planned to be in this game, but were cut for unknown reasons. My theory is, they were planned to be part of Sonic Adventure 3, but since they wanted to make this into a brand new project, they weren't needed, and I'm okay with that. Unlike Tails and Amy, their motivations are not about following Sonic, and adding them will feel unnecessary for the story, especially since I wish the other two had more screen time. It does make sense why they would be here though. The lore uses part of Knuckles' heritage, and being part of GON, assuming he still is, Shadow would most likely be helping the planet. But since the planet is so big, the odds of finding two more of Sonic's pals is unlikely. Just as long as we get to see them in future games, I really don't mind. The jokes were not for me. Chip, Professor Pickle, and Dr. Eggman's robot companion, later named Orbot in the series, allowed the reoccurring characters to show different sides we haven't seen that doesn't feel out of place for them. My favorites are when Tails gets weirded out from Professor Pickle's inappropriate responses. Orbot is the worst. Not only is his voice horrible in the ears, but he's a total jerk. I feel bad for Eggman in the last cutscene.
You can simply begin your plans anew. Even if all of your efforts this last time were utterly wasted, even if it was a complete and utter humiliating loss, even the most pathetic loser in all the world will have this chance
And then there's Chip. I honestly have been giving him a tough time. First, he keeps doing something completely out of nowhere, only for an attempt to get a laugh from the player, which can get annoying. And now I know I had trouble finding friends. Second, his amnesia is not only cliche, but Sonic doesn't really think much of it. Look at him, he has fairy wings. Why doesn't Sonic think he has anything to do with this? But then again, he knows a fox who can fly with 2 tails and an echidna who can glide with his dreadlocks. Lastly, I find his voice to be very annoying, and I can barely take him seriously with it. Plus, his interest in ice cream is, well, let's just say I think he's a little too attached to this cone. And Sonic, don't drop that! He's honestly one of the laziest written characters in the series, but he's not completely without effort. Chip learned not to judge others based on their appearances, and what makes him redeemable to me is that he can really feel how genuine their bond is. This is especially when Sonic decides to help him, even when Chip asks him not to. Because of all the things they did with each other, it's sad to see Sonic lose his new friend. The plot is just as ridiculous as any other Sonic game, but unlike Sonic 06, it doesn't take itself too seriously, which is nice even if I don't always like the jokes. Although I do wish it had more action scenes in the middle of the story. I don't think it's a big deal having both tones coinciding with each other. After all, what's life without its many tones? I like how Danny from Game Grumps describes it.
Just so over the top. In the best way possible.
Because he's cool. Look at him, he's so cool.
His eyes are very reflective.
The presentation is phenomenal. For a Wii title, the graphics look great. I love the fast-paced music in the daytime stages, and the main theme, Endless Possibilities, is one of my favorites. Nighttime music is slower and jazzier, which is usually not my thing, but I still enjoyed it. And then there's the battle theme. It plays every time when monsters appear, which I'm guessing every 2 minutes. It's so obnoxious and plays so often it gets annoying quickly. I think part of why I didn't care about the nighttime music when I first played this game is because how often this theme drowned it out. It's a good game that a general audience will enjoy, however Sonic fans may feel betrayed. The Werehog's gameplay lacks speed, and anyone with knowledge of the Sonic franchise knows that speed is what made the series, and it's most of the game. I have a short attention span. Speed is just something that keeps my attention, so slower games like The Legend of Zelda isn't as fun to me. I'm not saying it ruins most of my experience, and there are other ways to keep my attention. Sonic Unleashed is simply not perfect for me. Since I went to game design class, I learned that when you combine genres, this will make things more difficult to appeal to all your audience. For example, if you make a game that is a puzzle sports hybrid, that means you need to find a way to appeal to both puzzle fans and sports fans. Otherwise, opinions will be divisive. The easiest hybrid to make is the action-adventure genre, which this game technically is since beat-em-up is a subgenre to action games, but because it doesn't look like a beat-em-up Sonic game, that might be the reason for why it has so many different opinions. Not only that, but because of the retcons for Tails and Amy, all that character development that I loved in Sonic Adventure was apparently pointless. Sorry guys, I'm usually a very positive guy, but when it comes to Sonic, I'm a completely different person. Get it because Sonic fans are too passionate about the franchise, they get easily angered for the darndest of things, but they are actually a pretty chill fan base. They just respect more for the Sonic games, but can mostly respect each other despite the large amount of people who claim they are a toxic bunch. And no, I'm not speaking this up, I'm actually speaking this ass, so they shut the pick up. It's like what Professor Pickle says. Darkness is just a part of our world just as much as light. There's always going to be negativity, even in something that might seem positive. We want to enjoy our favorite franchises, and giving them forced positivity or false hope is not going to help. They say nothing is perfect, so there's always room for improvement. We will make mistakes, and in some cases, telling others that they're wrong and why is the only way to understand that. It's only advice, and it's your choice if you listen or not. I enjoy most Sonic games. However, I've envied others who are able to express what they like and dislike with confidence. I was afraid to hurt others' feelings. But I've learned that not everyone will like the same things I do. Why do we play video games? To have fun. But some games are meant to make you rage. Others are meant to be scary. Not every game is for everyone. We all have different tastes, experiences, and skills, so it's ultimately subjective. Believe it or not, there are people who like fart jokes. And sadly I was raised by them. That's not to say there isn't any objectivity. There are rules after all, but art is meant for our own interpretation. This game is not as good as I remember it to be, but I still had fun. It's divisive in the fanbase, and although some people hate this game, if you like it, then isn't that what's important? I believe that no matter how bad something might seem, there will always be good in it. What's a good example that doesn't make me look like a sociopath? Like bullying. Now, I'm not trying to say it's okay to bully, but it does help us get tougher and remind us that the world is not an easy place. Of course, if there are more negatives than positives, it's probably not a good thing. But even telling someone that they're wrong or expressing how you feel can be positive. And if I'm wrong, then tell me. But you won't, because that would be negative. And yet you would rather have me waste my time? I love Sonic, but I want him to be the best that he can be. There is always going to be positivity, even in something that might seem negative. That's why I want to make this channel. I'm the console warrior. I like to help others improve and see if these games are perfect for you.
As the armor break the scale, summer sun turns into hail. The fire in your heart burns out again. Spread your wings and fly away for another sunny day. I've got a million of them waiting for you. This time I'm moving away, and you wanna please take flight. Take me to my seaside. Why can't I just be ignored? Hold my hand, you're dragging me along this quicksand. So water and castles falling down. As the glass fills up with the rain, don't be ashamed. You only get one damn chance with this game. So call my name and I'll be there, ready to stoke that fire again. Writing hard